If I was Seabell, I would be pissed. You're talking about one of the rising stars in this sport, a guy who for the past 2 years has been a championship, or 3 years has been a championship contender. He blows up, he gets it off the track to pit road, and they leave him sitting there.
So I went wide open, hoping for a little taste of that unknown, living in a fast car days.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Checkers, Wreckers, and What the Heckers. My name is Chad Bearden. I'm a country music artist, content creator, and NASCAR superfan. Joined always by the man, the myth, the legend, the Buckeye himself, the best hair in all of NASCAR, of the Eastern Seaboard,
Wrong.
the yes, sir. The at track VIP coordinator for Haas Factory Team, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rick Kojan right there.
What's up, y'all? Do you mean the Haas factory team that finished 8th in the Cup race? You knew I was going there quick.
Yeah, I thought you would at least save it for your Homer checker wrecker or what the hecker.
Got the shirt, got the hat. I'm full on Homer today. I'm like a super fan like you, Chad Bearden. Come on.
Nothing wrong with that. And just touching back down
Yeah.
in the greatest country in the world from what appeared to be an incredible experience for him, sporting the Mexico City NASCAR event hat, the fastest man in North Carolina, the best looking man on this podcast, and representing the fastest team in all of NASCAR, the at track IT coordinator for Hendrick Motorsports, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Justice in the house.
Well, guys, listen, I appreciate it. It has been a long day of travel, but here we are. Let's talk about it, man. We had a lot of great things going on.
Yeah, I hit the ground running, got off a plane, and now we're podcasting. That's when you know you're serious about it, by
Hey,
God.
dedication is key, baby.
I like it. All right,
Chris, I can't tell you, we're humbled. We're humbled. All you went through to get back to do this, got your Mexico City hat on. You are coming strong. Welcome back to the country. We missed you.
Mi amigos.
Sí, señor.
I feel like we should go out for some tacos and just try to make me more authentic like you are now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, before we get into our Mexico City checkers, wreckers, what the heckers, let's get into a little three wide. So this is the final week for the seating for NASCAR's. It's not the first, but it's the first in a long time in-season bracket challenge. Drivers will go head to head in a bracket with the best finisher moving forward in the 6 weeks, beginning at Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta in 2 weeks, and finishing up at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on July 27th. The winner of that bracket gets $1 million. The same thing. The same thing.
$1 million.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that Dr. Evil impersonation there.
You're welcome.
So the entire bracket will play out on TNT's portion of the broadcast season. And I thought this was pretty cool. So True TV, which is obviously owned by TNT, will run an alternate broadcast that will only focus on the head-to-head matchups in the bracket. So pretty neat.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No,
so
I didn't know that either. But yet again, that's another content creator, right?
yeah.
So as we have these streaming revenue streams and moving to Prime and CW and off these historical broadcast channels, that just give you something else to draw your fans into, right? Because now if you're watching something, you gotta trying to get a piece of that pie, you're gonna pay more attention, right?
100%. So this bracket will be set based on points after Pocono this weekend. It will they will seed it 1 through 32 based on the points, and then the drivers will go head to head based on the bracket. Obviously, the winner each week of that head to head matchup will move throughout the bracket. So, two things that I thought we would do with this, guys. Number one, I thought it would be fun if the three of us filled out a bracket. And
Well, that's
that,
100% happening.
yeah, but I
Because
thought
Chad, I'm whooping your ass. I mean, come on now.
well, I was hoping you would say that, Rick, because I think we should put some stakes with this. I'm thinking some fantasy football type stuff. Maybe, Chris, what do you think? Maybe whoever the loser is, maybe has to stand out by the interstate with a sign that says, I lost my NASCAR bracket or something to that. I'm open to suggestions. You guys tell me what
You
you
know what?
think.
That'd be something to think about between now and when we get now through Poconos, we come up with something for next Monday to say, hey, all right, the bracket is starting, right? So let's see what happens. That's a
Yeah.
Here,
good idea. That's a good idea.
here I was, Chris, thinking he wanted to make higher stakes. I thought he meant stakes, STEAK, and
Listen,
like the loser had to take the other two boys out to like Epic or something. Now that's
whoa,
ornament.
I'm down.
listen. Now that's an option. There
Maybe
we
it's both
go.
of those things. Maybe a little embarrassment and a little money out of pocket.
All
S-
right. I'm
Speaking
all
of,
about trying to take Rick's money.
I like it. I like it. Rick has the money to give away. So, um,
Listen, listen. I'm gonna be clear. Unlike you two, you guys have some beautiful children, right? There's some cool dogs, four-legged creatures in your families. Like what I got's what I got. So I'd rather spend my money on y'all. I can't take it with me.
well, speaking of giveaway,
Oh,
um, to go along with this bracket challenge and to grow the excitement with our growing podcast, we're going to announce on next week's episode. I talked with some folks today, got some brainstorming to do with if we can get Rick's brain to start storming a little bit. But really, really cool giveaway I think we're going to do that we'll announce next week on the episode to coincide with the bracket challenge that will run through the 6 weeks. We'll announce the winner at the end of the 6 weeks. So after the Indy race. And yeah, hopefully we get a little few more eyes on the podcast. But also, I think we're gonna have a really cool experience and maybe some really cool things to give some fans that hopefully people get excited about some checkers, wreckers, and what the heckers. Any
and
thoughts on that?
just so you know, there, wise guy. I'm already brainstorming, and I got a couple ideas we can discuss after the fact, so that we can make our big announcement next week. So there you go.
Yep. I put some things into motion today that I'll clue you in on too.
Wheels are in motion, Chris. The
Wheels are
wheels
in
are in
motion.
motion.
What
Good deal.
Chris's wheels were in the air today. He was at a disadvantage, so
Total disadvantage.
he's catching back up. All right, so not a lot of news going on in NASCAR this week, but I wanted to do something two two little hits right here that I want to do with you guys. We'll start with you, Ricky. Give me two drive. I'm putting you on the spot here for both of these things. Ricky, we'll start with you on this first one. Give me two drivers who you think could be on the hot seat right now, or who you could see being on the move at the end of the season.
Ooh.
Mm, yeah.
Chris, this gives you time to think, so you be
Well, and because there hasn't been much discussion about hot seats because a lot of it happens to be a year where a lot of drivers are under contract. So, um, when you say on the hot seat, you're indicating like job loss. Um, I'll throw you one. I'm just going shotgun. You really handcuffed me. This one has surprised me, so I'm going to put it out there. Um, I don't know what Spire's up to with Justin Haley. I know that he started the year with Rodney Childers, who's like one of the most respected, Cup championship winning crew chiefs. Good friend of all of ours here on the podcast. Cheddar Bob Smith is car chief. Both are gone into the wind, right? Cheddar at Gibbs and Rodney, we'll see. Performance of that car ain't great. I'll give you him as one driver. And that's really coming off the cuff. I don't even know what his contract situation is. If I had to give you another one, because you asked for two and you put me on the damn spot, and I'm supposed to know what I'm talking about, I'm going to give you Austin Dillon. And the reason I'm going to give you Austin Dillon is because Austin Dillon can be on a different kind of hot seat. He can be on a hot seat and out of that 3 ride, right? Only because you got Austin Hill sitting in an Xfinity car that could step into it. And make no mistake, Austin Dillon's not losing his job and, coming to, sit on our podcast for income, which there is none. Grandpa's going to give him a job internally at RCR. So those are my 2 drivers.
And that's a fair point. And at some point, that's going to be Austin's company to run. And that was his grandfather's path that he took. Austin's dad is involved there, but it's very much his company to take over. It's just when does he do that? So I think that's a great point.
Thank
Chris?
you for handcuffing me.
I don't know. I think Zilich is on the move somewhere. I just can't put him where in a Chevrolet quite yet.
Yeah, but that's not a hot seat.
But he said on the move, right?
Oh, okay.
I said,
Right.
I did say, or on the move. That's a
On the
fair
move.
point.
That's good.
And to your point, Rick, hot seats are tight because of the contracts right now.
They are.
There's not a lot to be moved.
However, we have seen guys even in the past couple of years who have had their contracts bought out or released from their contracts who were under contracts and then they were gone. We saw it with um with 2311 last year.
Yeah, true.
I like the
And then you
Zilich
have
call,
that.
Chris. I like it. I'd love to see him stay another year. I just feel developmentally it'd be great to have another Xfinity year, but that's a good one. What else you got?
I'm at a loss, bro. I got travel brain. That was an excellent question. Honestly, but I'm like, stumbling over my words for a second, guy. But Zilich does stand out just because of his on track performance, man. Every week he's in that car, he's doing something great, making moves, and
He's
racing hard. You
he's
know what
done
I mean?
it. He's done everything on the road courses that everybody expects, but he's really over excelled on the ovals in a
Right.
way I think nobody thought he would get there as fast as he got. I mean, he's outperforming what SVG is doing on the ovals as far as the time it's taking him to learn ovals. That this guy
Correct.
is showing up every single week and
Correct.
running top 5 on ovals.
That's
Right.
true.
Right. So that'll be my guy on the move. I just can't place him anywhere yet just because of the contract situation.
What
And maybe,
is
you know what I
Suarez
mean?
contract up at the end of the year?
That's what I heard. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm pretty sure he came back on a 1-year deal and has not been re-signed yet.
So that might be a mover and shaker right there.
Yeah.
Zilich to the 99 with an asterisk because the number may change.
Yeah.
Well, he can't run the 88 because you already got SVG in the 88. So
Yeah.
all right, the second
That's a
part
good
of that.
question.
That
Second
was.
Way
part,
to dig deep.
second part of that, on the flip side of that,
Chad's been doing
Chris,
his homework, trying to pin us down.
second part of that, on the flip side, tell me 2 guys who have surprised you with their performance this year. Chris Justice.
Surprise performance. I'm gonna go Horsevar. Carson has surprised me in the way that he has created some buzz about himself. I like it. I like the aggression. He's one guy who surprised me, moving up and getting in that cup car. And my other guy, I'm gonna go back to Zilich. Honestly, I didn't know who he was till he got on the scene. And just watching him every week, I'm like, yeah, this kid is good. This kid has got something.
Ricky.
That's solid. Um, I'm inclined for one of them. Yeah, here's how I'm going to do it. One of them is Josh Berry because we were real sweet on him for a long time. Maybe he's cooled off a little bit last couple weeks. He's still got that win. He's going to the playoffs. He's got that. He got that win for Wood Brothers. We all, romanticized and felt good, and that was such a feel good win. So Josh Berry is my one. My two, I'm going to group them together. The two legacy motor club drivers, John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones. I think if you look in points, they're floating around like 21 and 22. After what they went through last year, dude, I got to tell you, John Hunter, if I'm not mistaken, recent memory would tell me, didn't he finish like right ahead of Cole Custer or right behind him in Mexico? Like he's pulling off these top 15 finishes. Pretty impressive what's going on over there. And that legacy club is not under full on Toyota support like a Gibbs 2311 deal. So that's what I'm going to give it up to the legacy cars and Josh Berry.
Those are
What do
great
you got,
picks.
Chad? What's your two?
Um, yeah, I think all those are great. I'm also gonna go. I mean, it's hard not to throw in, in the truck series. I mean, obviously, Corey Haim is just next level. I'm interested to see. We kind of chatted about this with the Kyle Busch situation and via text, but there's this whole lawsuit with Legacy and Rick Ware. So
I'm
at
sure
least
they had the
as
charter coming.
I
right.
thought it cleared.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
cleared.
so it cleared. So, initially it was it was where they're gonna get it in 26 or was it gonna be 27? What are the chances you guys think? I know that that Heim is under contract with 2311. What's the chances Toyota wants to put him at at Legacy maybe for a
Well, you
year?
see that happen from time to time. You have a guy under a manufacturer branch racing
Yeah,
with another
loaned
team,
out, so to speak,
loaned
right?
out.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it works. Everybody wins in that situation. The rookie is getting laps and exposure still under the manufacturer brand, right? But you might not be with
And
the, tier one manufacturer team at the time.
well,
Gotta
and
see get you in there.
And again, for Jimmy Johnson, that gives you leverage, right? Hey,
Right.
I'll take this guy for a year, 2 years, whatever. You feed me a little more information.
Right.
Um, so he's a guy that I think, and also two guys who I think who have performed better than I anticipated is Ryan Preece and Austin Cindric. Um, Ryan has consistently and Austin too. Those guys have been in top 10, top 5 almost every week, competing almost every week. Um, Ryan is having a career season. Um, and Austin too. I mean, got the win at Talladega, but also um, he's consistently in the mix. So those guys have both impressed me. So
I give you
Well, that's a
credit
good
for
one.
Priest. That was a miss by me because I'm a homer for Priest, as you both know. That's okay. I'll own it. Um, 14th in points, I think, Chad, and started P2, if I'm not mistaken, in the Mexico race
He
yeah, on a
did. He
road
did.
course.
next
Mexico
to
race, they only got
SVG. So tell me where that Berlin, Connecticut modified boy all of a sudden has those chops to be on a course he's likely never been on. So, man, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
Yours
and
were better than mine.
and said in the media that he backed out because he got a little concerned at one point. So he thought he could have might have had the pole had he not
Yeah.
pulled back a
Yep.
little bit.
listen, those guys only had 17 minutes worth of track time for qualifying. And then
Yeah,
Mother Nature showed up. So,
Right.
I mean,
right,
like you said, hats off to them guys that laid a lap down early and started on the pole like Ryan Priest. I mean, started outside pole like Ryan Priest.
right.
Good call. Good call, Chad.
All right, good
You
conversation.
definitely are a super fan. That's good.
I like it. Well, let's get into checkers, wreckers, and what the heckers for NASCAR in Mexico City. Let's talk some Xfinity. Um, Rick, you got a checkers for
Oh, I wanted to go
Xfinity?
first on the truck
Oh,
race.
wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. Before we get into that, Rick, I had a comment from Jesse on the podcast last week. He wants to know if his comment was, Rick, are there any plans for Cole, Sam, and Sheldon to do any meet and greets at Atlanta yet? Do you know plans yet for Atlanta or
Uh,
Echo Park Speedway?
yeah, 100% that's going to happen. We usually frame those out week of. So I think I could probably speak to it better after Pocono.
All right, Jesse's going to be there. I will not be in Atlanta. Chris, will you be in Atlanta?
I will not be in Atlanta.
Rick, you will be in Atlanta.
100%.
All right, so you try to meet up with our guy Jesse in Atlanta, Rick,
All
and,
right.
and see if
I'll
you
take
can't get him some autographs from.
I'll take that task, no problem.
All right,
Just
so
make sure he knows the hair. And on race day, I always wear red.
always in red.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Tiger Woods thing, but always the Haas red polo for race day.
I got it. All right, there were no trucks this weekend, so
Oh,
Rick does not get crap for not watching trucks. Give me a checkers for Xfinity, Rick Kojan.
yeah, easy, 100%. I'm gonna hit this one out of the park. I feel bad for you guys because you gave it to me first, and now I lay down the bar as the challenger. What are y'all gonna come up with next? Okay, ready? Here it is. Gone. Checkers done. NASCAR, Suarez, and the media. Okay, for all the logistical efforts and hassles and waits and everything that went along with moving this circus into Mexico and out of Mexico. I heard at one point it was 140 semi trucks at all, with teams, with Amazon Prime, with media, everything, right? They get their made for TV primetime storybook ending that everybody was wishing for. Everybody was WWE, SmackDown. Let's orchestrate it. I'm not saying it was orchestrated. The hometown hero.
Oh, it was all over Twitter. This
I,
this was conspiracy.
okay, and again, I don't know because this is my social media outlet right here. Thank you very
Right.
much, you guys. The hometown hero crashes in practice, goes to a backup car that is presented to the grid line, I think, as the anthems were being sung. He starts last. He comes completely through the field. He avoids, I think, 2 or 3 chaoses in turn one, and he wins. There is no other checker I can wave than that. Thank you very much.
Chris?
Listen, that was a solid checker right there. And hats off to the hero there, right? Like all of the amigos was chanting for Suarez, right? Like you have to. He did a phenomenal job. My checker would be similar to that, and that would be for NASCAR not penalizing cars that were forced off the track and maintain their position by not taking the corners.
Oh, that's interesting.
And which also allowed Suarez to get the lead. But it also allowed other drivers to maintain the lead before Suarez took it late in the race. I think that was a heads-up call. It kept the race exciting. It wasn't like they intentionally just drove through the grass to cut the corner to get the lead or to maintain it. It was forced out, and NASCAR did a good heads-up job all weekend of not calling penalties for guys in the grass.
Yeah.
That's why I think we're going to double our podship. Is it a podship or a viewership? I don't know. Because we bring different perspectives. That's a great one, Chris. They left it as a ball and strike call for the driver to kind of feed back in to line. And if NASCAR agreed, no spots taken, no spots given, they let them race.
They let them race.
I didn't hear. I think Keselowski got one in the Cup race. I don't. Was there any more than that?
Oh,
And
yeah.
if it was, it wasn't many. I'm gonna say 3 to 4, maybe 5 tops, but it didn't change the outcome of the race.
Right.
It wasn't like Keselowski was P2,
Right.
right, and drove to the grass to be P1, and now he's P30th because he got penalized. You know what I mean?
And am I wrong, Chris? You can help me, or you can, super fan. Did they, when that did happen, did they call it the Joker lane?
That's what I heard. I kept going,
I swear to God,
where
Chris.
did
I
this
mean, you
come
were there
from?
live, but obviously Chad and I watched it streaming on Prime. I thought they called it the Joker
Yeah,
lane.
and they kept saying it. I'm like, that's a weird name for this. But
That's
All
a
right.
new one to
yeah,
me, but obviously on that end, with the race going, you don't hear the commentators, you just see the cars go by. So
Yeah.
the
yeah,
Joker lane, that's good.
yeah. I mean, mine just echoes Rick. It was the perfect imperfect storm. Um, the crash of the car, Junior Motorsports working their butts off. They have to prepare that car in 2 hours, change out all the insides, get
It's
his seat in there,
crazy.
adjust the pedals. The fact that they could even pull that off in 2 hours, get it back, get it on the grid for Suarez to be able to drive. I mean, he drove the race of his life. You got to be riding on all kind of emotions, and the Mexico City fans just all in it for their driver. I mean, it was the perfect imperfect storm. So I echo you, Rick. That's my checkers.
Thank you, super fan.
My wreckers, though, I'm gonna, I'm gonna come um, almost opposite of you, Chris Justice.
All
Not
right.
for that
Awesome.
specific thing, but my wreckers is going to be the race director for the Xfinity Series.
Mm.
For
I think it's Eric Peterson, isn't it?
maybe, um,
Chris, you
I,
can
I
check
don't,
me on that. I
I
think
don't know
that's who it is.
specifically for this race who race director was for this race, but
And by the way, this is his first year in that position. Let me just throw that in. Go
right. But specifically for not throwing the caution after the number 24 of Christopher Bell
ahead.
blew up. If I was C Bell, I would be pissed. You're talking about one of the rising stars in this sport, a guy who for the past 2 years has been a championship, or 3 years has been a championship contender. He blows up. He gets it off the track to pit road and they leave him sitting there because they're trying to make it to the end of the stage, but leave him in a vulnerable position. It was bad enough that after the stage ended, they left pit road closed for multiple passes by because they had to clean it up. But the kid sat in his car until he finally felt so unsafe that he climbed out and ran behind the wall, and they showed it on TV. If I'm Bell, I'm pissed. Don't leave me in a vulnerable situation like that. I don't care if it's just because it's Bell. If it's a caution, it's a caution. Throw it. I don't care who it screws in pit strategy. I don't care who it screws on your race coverage or that race back to the flag, or if it adds 5 laps to the yellow, if it's a caution, throw it. That's a safety issue. Do not leave one of your drivers sitting out there. That's a horrible look. Unacceptable. Chris,
So,
I had the
Chris,
same one. I had the
Chris,
same one.
Chris,
I had that one.
do you love every now and then when Chad takes these courses and it almost feels therapeutic in nature, right? You and I are like his Dr.
I
Phil.
was I was so mad. I was
Listen,
livid.
Chad's on the couch right now. He's letting it out. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was mine too. Like he pulls off, great job pulling off, blowing up, smoke everywhere. He pulls off to the side, gets out of the traffic, get out of the racing lane, and he sits there. And he sits there. And he sits there. And all of a sudden you see the window net come down and he hops out. Then they throw the caution flag. You're like, come on, he's been sitting there. It felt like 10 minutes already. Like just that was a horrible job. I agree with
They
you, Chad, on that one.
Well,
they
hold
didn't
on,
throw the
hold on.
caution till the
Let's
stage end.
That's what I mean. But it was
let
over at that point.
that's why the caution came out was because
Right.
of the
Right.
stage
Because the
end.
stage end and he's
And to
sitting
be
there.
Yeah, and to be clear, I mean he's off the track on pit lane at the end of pit lane, tucked against the wall. I'm
But
not
but
debating you guys, but
but pit side but green flag pit stops are still going on at the point when he came in. Pit road is still
That
open.
Right. Pit
that's
road was
correct.
not closed. It was not two to go when he came in. So pit road was
That's right.
technically still open.
You guys are right.
Yeah.
That's piss poor. Piss poor. You
Yeah,
put that
that
man
was a bad one.
you put that man in harm's way. If something would have happened to I mean, again, if something would have happened to anybody, it would have been bad. But you're talking a cup superstar who is driving in an Xfinity race. Anyways,
Yeah.
Rick, what's your records?
Well, just to show my impartiality, in that I don't always have to be a homer on this podcast, even though 80% of the time I am. My records is going to get waived over my man, Connor Zilich. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Connor, on the after stage 2, so I think this is right after the incident you guys were talking about with Bell. I think that was the transition from stage 2 to stage 3. We do the restart, and we know everybody's loaded for bear and headed for turn 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zilich overdrives turn 1, takes him 3 wide. He goes on the inside. I believe it was Gibbs in the middle, and it was Daniel Suarez on the outside of this instance or occurrence. Thank God the hometown hero was not wrecked in this aftermath. However, he takes an absolutely impossible angle into the apex, locks the front, side body slams Ty Gibbs. Suarez, I think, maybe got bounced out a little bit, but behind it was a big wreck with at least 6 cars. That was a mess by my man Connor Zilich.
Well, that's another good one. He created a
Yep.
shitstorm out there for real.
That was a mess.
Yeah, dude. Chris, what the heckers?
Uh, my hecker will be for this will be I'm gonna go my hecker, and it has nothing to do with the actual race, but it's gonna be NASCAR's participation in all of our haulers getting down there and how troublesome it was for our drivers to get through toll booths, direction, city traffic with no help. Uh,
Amen.
I have to lay some responsibility on them on our travel arrangements for our truck drivers.
Amen.
They had a haul from Michigan to Laredo, from
Thank you.
Laredo to Mexico City, and it was a disastrous travel for them guys getting from the border to the racetrack in time.
And now they've got to go all the way to Pocono. I
Thank
mean,
you.
Yes,
holy
Thank
crap, these
you.
guys are
yes,
doing work.
yes. So you go from Mexico City back to North Carolina for we'll say a day before you have to turn around and drive that truck to Pocono.
That's a good one.
Horrible, horrible.
That,
Ricky?
yeah, that is solid. Um, just to add on to Chris there, I texted our drivers, at least on the cup side, okay?
Yep.
And my word was from last Wednesday. They had just arrived safely, and I just threw a shout out and I said, hey, I've just heard here at the race shop that you guys have arrived safely. I'm glad to hear that. The response I got back was trip from Bold Helvetica HELL 3 exclamation marks.
And that was the consensus from 99.999% of everybody that drove a truck in that garage.
And 5-10 minutes ago, I told y'all that I heard from Larry Mack, a little, Mac nugget last week, if you will, 140 semi trucks got down there. So whether they were team haulers, Amazon haulers, media, whatever they were doing or
The
bringing,
no-co fuel guys, the whole thing.
Champion,
Yep.
Goodyear, you name it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Good one, Chris.
Like it. Rick, what's your what the heckers?
Well, I couldn't stay unbiased too long. So I'm right back to my homer
Don't
And my what the hecker is Connor Zilic. Guys, how good is this guy? How good? What the heck? Guys, pole position, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Dominant in stages 1 and 2, okay? And by the way, he got punted in turn 1 of stage 1 by Ty Gibbs, kept his mouth shut, raced his way back, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And look, I gave it to you that, my records was that dumb move at the beginning of stage 3, but he comes all the way back with a damaged race car that, by the way, he damaged because of his bad move and drives it home to 5th. Guys, this is the SVG of road course racing in the Xfinity Series currently.
listen. Could you imagine how good he will be with a clean race car? I mean, you think about his win at Coda. He
Yeah,
won
that's his
that
point.
after he
He had a
wrecked the
clean
car. I
car.
mean,
That's a great point, Chad.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean,
He's a great
yeah.
kid, man. All right,
Oh,
I'm
he's
done
gonna
being a
be
homer. Thank you.
all right. My what the heckers was for as dominant as Junior Motorsports has been this year. I did not, it was hard for me to believe that until stage 1 of Mexico City, that Carson Quapple had not won a stage.
Mm,
Got his first stage win at
Hmm.
Mexico City,
that is
stage 1.
true.
Yeah, very true. That's a good point
Yeah.
there, Chad.
And
Yeah.
he's
Guapo has
been,
been silent.
Legit.
yeah, he's been up front, ran up front all season long, but that was his first stage win. So that was my what the hecker. And that wraps us up for Xfinity. Let's talk some cup. Checkers. Give it to me, Chris Justice.
Let's see. Checkers, checkers. I got a big checker here, and it's off the norm, but I'm gonna say Mother Nature. Mother Nature threw us a curveball early,
Hmm.
right? Added some excitement to the whole dynamic that we had going on being in Mexico, being on this
Right.
road course we only saw for an hour the day before, right? And then she wants to rain on us as we take the green.
Yeah.
I thought it made for an excitement. I thought it made it created some buzz. It created some new strategies. Um, and I think it laid out a good race.
For sure. I like that. Ricky?
Yeah, that one's legit. And bear in mind that I think it was Austin Cindric and Busher stayed out on slicks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Busher didn't fare as well, but give some credit to Cindric, who is a very accomplished turn left, turn right road racer from his past. Dude, I can only imagine, right?
Yeah, I
Slick.
think they ended up being 10th and 18th after that staying on slicks when everybody went to rains. I
Yeah,
think at the end of the race they ended up 10th and 18th
And he
after they recovered from that deal.
Cindric didn't pit until what, stage 3?
correct. That's a good point, Chad. Yeah, he rolled it a long time on those original tires.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My checkers was did you go, Rick?
I didn't. I'd
Yeah.
love for you to
Oh,
go. Go
sorry.
on.
Sorry. My checkers was that the road
You're the
race.
host. You can do what you
Sorry.
want. Go ahead.
I threw it to you. I thought, then I don't know. Anyways, was that the road racers showed up? Obviously, SVG puts on a master class. He wins by 17.21 seconds, but also Bell comes home second. Elliott's in there. Michael McDowell was in there. So it was nice to see the guys who were supposed to be up front be up front. The guys who are the road racers. If Amazon Prime is going to bring Chase Elliott out and say, this track looks like it's got my name on it. It's nice to see Chase Elliott come home in top 3, get up
That's
there
true.
on the podium and try to figure out how to open a champagne bottle for the first time in his life. Did you see it all over social media,
Damn.
Chris? So Chase posted on his Twitter like a reel of them like shooting the champagne corks or whatever. And he's like, sorry, I'm new to this. He's like, we don't know how to do this podium thing.
Yeah, maybe in Dawsonville they're beer drinkers. I don't begrudge them that.
No, it was listen, that's the most um excitement I think maybe I've ever seen out of Chase Elliott. So I will take it. If the goofiness of that podium trying to figure out how to open a champagne bottle,
Yeah.
that at least showed me something out of Chase Elliott. I will take that. All right, give me your records, Ricky.
I got
I
to
mean,
give you a
sorry, give
checker.
me your
I got
checkers.
you.
That's what I
I
meant.
got you, host.
Jesus.
Oh, you're trying to cut me out of this checker. And it's the obvious one. Let me have it, for God's sakes.
Take it.
Throw that
Go ahead and
lob.
take it.
Yeah, bring it right over the center of the plate, nice and slow, so I can actually hit it because I suck at baseball. SVG, come on, man. How good is this guy as a road racer? They talked numerous times during the broadcast about how good his footwork is, how he works the clutch in with his brakes, even well beyond heel and toe, which, I've taken a lot of road racing courses and they've tried to teach me heel and toe. That ain't no easy thing to begin with. And now SVG won't put a camera in his car anymore. I don't know if you picked that up, because he doesn't want anyone watching his footbox magic.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
That's legit. Okay. Dude starts on the pole. I thought he won by 16.5 seconds. Superfan says 17.2. We'll go with him. Listen, he makes the playoffs and he's sitting 30th in points.
33rd.
At the end of the run, or the end of the race, his run is gaining a second of the lap. His crew chief tells him, hey, man, you want to back it down a little? His response is, be quiet, I got this.
Stop telling me to slow down.
Come on, man.
All right,
Listen,
give
he
me
dominated
Checkers,
17
SVG. Good
seconds.
for you.
Like he got the lead and checked completely out. He found his rhythm, right? And they put the camera views on his footwork, and they showed how his feet was dancing in there, taking those corners and the brake clutch combination, and how he's mastered his craft on the
Do you
road
know that was
courses.
from a previous race, Chris? That was
Was it?
not current. Yeah, that was from a previous race.
Oh, whatever it was, it's
Yep.
working,
Yeah, he
Take
right?
won't let
So
that camera in there anymore.
Red
yeah,
Bull gives you
so
wings.
that just goes to show, right,
Cool.
how talented this guy is on the road course and how he perfected his craft. And you got to give him his props. Total domination. And honestly, you walk in there knowing you have to beat him on the road course.
Yeah.
100%. All right, give me your records while you're there, Ricky.
Records from me?
Yeah.
Well, I say this with great hesitation, and I warn our super podcast fan Jesse, this might be my last podcast appearance, because my records goes to Kyle Busch. Chad, I'm sorry. What's going on? Dude, what? Come on, man. Like, he came down so fast, so hard, locked it up. That number 8 looked like a number 8 weight bowling ball that took out good cars like bowling pins. Zane Smith spraying around, Kyle Larson spraying. They got Dinger in there. Come on, man. You got anything for me?
It was also my records.
Wow.
Kyle Busch. It was Father's Day. I had my little one cuddled up on the couch beside me. He was decked out in his Kyle Larson stuff. He had his Kyle Larson prime sitting there watching the race. Kyle Busch barreled down in there. He sees my favorite driver take out his favorite driver. He looks at me and goes, yeah, it did made for a long day.
That's a tough father-son moment.
Yeah, made for a long day in our house. Yeah, that was my records too. I mean, just he came out of the infield care center, after they tried to fix his car and couldn't fix his car.
Yeah, I mean,
He said, he went a little deeper in the corner before and it held, and so he thought he could be a little more aggressive and couldn't. Just it didn't stick.
it's just tough to see. It's tough to see the struggles continue, and it's one thing to struggle on your own. It's another so early in an event like this that took so much time, energy, and effort to get there. Can you even imagine for a minute what the 5 team felt like?
Oh
They're
my
like,
gosh.
that's it? That's our Mexico race? Get that
Listen,
plane ready. We're going home.
they finished the race though. They fixed it. They put it back together, finished the race, so they didn't
And,
get a DNF. The
and then
And,
final
ran
and took fastest lap and got a
fastest
point.
lap.
and got fastest lap with a rebuilt car during the race.
Yeah.
What's your record there, Chris?
My records is Cindric and Busher not taking the wets in the beginning.
Damn.
They lost a ton of. I mean, they finished 10th and 18th, but they lost a ton of positions in between there, right? And they had to battle back throughout the entire race when they had the track position. Everybody's coming to get tires at that point, right? Come get them, right? Just come get them. You know you're gonna need them. It was wet. It was a good rain that those slicks were not gonna be worth the risk.
Yeah, they kept saying they kept saying they thought the track was going to dry super fast and the rain was going to move out and that
It
they were
was
going to be
not
the
that
one.
hot to dry super fast.
You were there. I'm just telling you what they were saying on TV. Like their crew chiefs were saying, "Hey, this rain's going to get out here quick. There's not going to be enough moisture in the track. Your tires are going to come in and you're going to just pace the field." And that never happened for them.
Never.
So,
They
Chris, I
paced
don't
the
know
field
this
all right.
answer. I don't know this answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
All right.
Driver call or crew chief call? Do you know on either one of
No,
those?
I don't know either way.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it seemed like it was just based on listening on TV, and I don't know for a fact, but it seemed like it was a crew chief call. But
Yeah, I mean, I watched the same broadcast as you. I couldn't pick it up either. I was just
yeah,
curious.
and
I'm gonna say
I
crew
mean,
chief because they both stayed out.
and with
Driver might be 50-50, right? You know what I mean?
and with Cindric, you can take that gamble, right? You have a win in the bag, so
Right.
you're locked into the playoffs.
Good point.
I mean, but I don't know. I agree. It was a weird I mean,
That was
roll the
weird. That
dice.
was weird.
And even even if you go to the wet weather tires, I mean, even if the track does dry out, those things until they, get so hot that they start to bubble, they hold speed. I mean, you saw it a
They
few
do.
years ago at North Wilkesboro. Those things are fast.
Yeah, they hold speed. They don't fall right off, right?
Yeah.
You know
No.
what I mean?
So
They give you a little cushion there to.
yeah, you could get some fast laps out of those before. I mean, enough to get you a
And if
good
you keep
run too.
wetting them up by going offline, you can make them live longer.
Right.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, that was my record.
Like it. What the heckers, Chris?
My what the heckers is all the drivers that showed up Sunday morning with stomach problems for drinking the water. We all know you cannot drink the water or eat the ice in Mexico.
I saw Noah Gragson posting all week long.
Like, come on,
Uh,
fellas. You can't eat lettuce because it's washed in the same water they make the ice with. Right? Like, come on. No salads, none of this. Like, come on.
yeah,
That's
you
great.
you would think these guys have people. They're not people for that.
They got people. Maybe they was drinking the water too. I don't know.
Chad, can we
Maybe
call
they
him? Can we call him Dr. Justice just for the end of this? That's Dr. Justice weighing in.
maybe they were drinking the tequila.
Well, hey, well, they might have had a headache, not a stomach problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, SVG said he was sick.
Yeah, he was really like he wasn't even on the grid for the national anthems.
Yeah.
Like he was taking his time getting to the car. So yeah, he was. I mean, that just goes to show, man. You know,
The quote was, he was leaking out of both holes. That's
Gra
his words.
Gragson was posting stories to his Instagram stories of him sitting in the toilet and him
yes.
taking Imodium. Like he's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then he posted a story. He's like, great, I have to wear a white fire suit. This is going to go well.
Oh yeah. He
That's
said me and this thing, the thing being the toilet, have been together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yes, he did. I love that guy. Oh my God.
Yeah,
What's
he's
your
great.
what's your heckers, Ricky?
man, my what the heck is what the heck, Alex Bowman. Listen, That was a vicious hit that he took at Michigan, right?
Mhm.
And we talked about it, and we talked about, Cindric up into our 41 car of Custer then into Bowman, turns him headlong into the wall. I didn't realize, I mean, I knew it was a vicious hit. He said in his post race interview that up until Wednesday, he could not walk. Could not walk. He was in so much pain. Dude travels to another country, okay? Same issues that he could be facing that Chris just mentioned, right? Drives on a track he's never been on and drives to a fourth place finish. Man, what the heck, Alex Bowman? I gotta tip my hat to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he definitely manned up. He definitely manned up.
well,
You see him walking around the track gingerly, just the way his moves were very ginger, just to preserve what he had left. You know what I mean? To make it.
yeah,
Yeah,
they were
Yeah,
that's a good one, Rick.
they were saying on the broadcast, like coming out of the hauler, like they thought he was going to fall coming out of the hauler, like had to be
yeah,
assisted a couple times. So yeah,
nuts.
that's a great one.
Much
Uh,
respect. He earned my respect that last weekend.
100% there with you, bud.
my what the heckers was the call of the 54 to run long, ends up getting caught by that caution,
Yeah,
uh, gets has the restart 10th on the restart, and then ends up finishing 11th.
yeah,
He probably had the only car that could have possibly challenged SVG, probably his only shot, maybe, at making the playoffs.
yeah,
Um, I don't know why. I mean, obviously he had more fuel than SVG. He had, why when he saw them pit, do you not bring him at the same time, take less fuel, get back out on the track at the same time or faster than SVG?
yeah.
SVG said, "Hey, that car's fast.
He
Like
did.
he's
Yeah,
fast."
You're right. Over the radio, he did say
Over
that.
the radio, he
right.
said that guy that car is fast.
Yeah.
So
So I cannot understand, like, when the one thing that could kill us is a caution coming out.
Yep.
Why, as soon as you see that 88 hit pit road, are you not going right behind him?
hmm
I mean, that your only chance is winning the race, and this is the closest you've come to winning a race all season long.
yeah, he looked good in the first stages.
Oh, he looked incredible. And
Yeah,
and again, I think had he pitted there, it could have been a dogfight at
at the
the
end.
end.
hmm
But after that, there's nobody. I mean, you put so many cars between him and SVG. I mean, SVG just outruns everybody else.
Clean air is everything.
Yep.
That was a good one.
All right.
What about the at the end of the race there with our the guys we talked about last week and the drivers won Ricky Stenhouse to
Yeah, nobody
uh,
nobody used that as a checker wrecker. What the hecker? That's funny. You're right.
yeah.
Listen,
Eric, what do you think on that?
I think that was, look, Ricky went over there and Ricky's, this is my opinion. Ricky is, yeah, mate, Ricky's pissed off because he's gotten turned around or whatever. Ricky don't want none of that. Ricky don't really want none of that. What Ricky does want is he wants the media to keep talking about him. He wants to stay relevant in whatever way he can. He wants
hmm
that car to be shown on screen because um that's his chance to be out front, have a mic in his face, and be able to plug his sponsors. But Ricky don't want none of that. He don't really.
I think what he said was he when we get back to the States, you're gonna get it.
Right.
Bingo. He
Yeah.
exactly said that. He's like, I'm not going to start nothing here. We get back to the States. I'm going to kick your ass. I think he's going to kick your ass too, Chad.
Hey, listen, he could. Listen, I'm a 40-year-old man out of shape.
Why
And
are you so sure that Hocevar, what, just because of the length and the reach?
listen, I don't think he wants any of that. This,
Okay.
you're not talking about fighting Kyle Busch. This is with all your people around, with you holding him down and your dad sucker punching him.
All right.
I mean, you're talking about 20-year-old kid
Yeah,
who's what, 6'6", 6'7".
you're right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Ricky's ripped up. I saw him when we were at Charlotte. He was in the uh the MRO service we did.
Yeah, they
Ricky,
say he's like top 10 drivers in shape. Yeah.
oh, listen, he's ripped up, but I just don't think he really wants it.
All right.
Like I think if I'm being honest, I think Ricky loves the storyline. I think it's great for him that he's being talked about.
All right.
That's my
That's a good
opinion.
point.
I mean, for Carson, Carson's got speed. Carson's being talked about, yes, because he's making some mistakes and he's being aggressive, but Carson's got
Again and
speed
again,
every
making the
week.
mistakes.
Yeah, and that's fine. Listen, uh, that whatever. I don't care. I don't care if he wrecks 15 cars on his way to the front as long as he gets up front. Because you know what? Winning fixes everything.
Do you care if he doesn't when he's a lap down?
It's a little, again, I don't think in this, he said, I screwed up, I overcooked it or whatever. I wish it would have been Ricky that I ran into, obviously.
100%.
Right.
Like, what are the odds of that, right?
That's
You got-
always how it goes.
It
He's probably,
is.
listen, he's going to qualify right next to him next week and they're going to ride around Pocono
It
in the
is.
truck
That in the
together.
same truck together. That is
Yeah.
the dumbest shit luck. You're right.
But listen,
Yeah, they
but,
got to wave at the crowd together.
but it's the best thing that could be happening for Ricky right now and the worst thing that could be happening for Carson because Carson has speed. Carson has a car and the talent that can, he's making Spire better than Spire is.
Yeah. And it's a good thing for NASCAR because we're talking about it.
100%.
So is everybody else.
100%.
Yeah, that's true. They're
It's the
staying
best.
relevant, like you said, and they create that buzz, right?
Hmm.
Like the buzz. Everybody, they're keeping them on the top of your Google. When you search NASCAR, those two guys pop up first,
Yeah.
outside of your winner.
And
Every
listen, if again, we go back to this, but if this was somebody, if this is Ricky Stenhouse wrecking everybody and you finish 15th to 25th every week, then it's a different story than a guy who is running up front every week. I mean, everybody, I'm not I'm not making the comparison to Dell Sr. because I don't think it's the same. Dell Jr. made the comparison to Dell Sr. a little bit, but you know, the first few years Dell Sr. He ran all over everybody, but he won
well,
races.
look at Chastain. Look at the buzz he had. What, a year ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah, and hey,
Same thing.
and he was winning more races when he did it.
Yeah, he won more races when he was aggressive.
So just real quick, we're continuing to praise Hocevar. I just want to fact check us, and you can fact check me. Do you know they're equal in points?
I mean, I knew they were close, but
Okay.
Let's
but
see.
Just making a point.
no,
We'll go
I'm
to the .com device.
I'm pretty sure they were dead equal in points. Interesting, right?
well, and
Yeah.
and 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 that may be true, but you got to factor in the few DNFs that Carson has had.
I
But
understand.
Actually,
Was I
you ready
wrong?
for this? No, Carson has 313 total points. Ricky Stenhouse has 312.
So there's my point.
They're
Yeah.
neck and neck right there together.
Doesn't
But
matter how you get there. It just matters. I mean, basically, what you're saying is Hocevar's having such a great year, running good. Okay, well, there's his point total. Guess what? For running for a single car team for Hayek, and believe me, this is outside my wheelhouse to be sticking up for Ricky Stenhouse, but he's having a good year.
Now they're 20th and 21st right now in points, in driver points.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
well, it continues again. I think it's
Just
probably
go easy, Chad, because I don't want Ricky Stenhouse coming after you. I love you, bro.
listen. I told you he would whip my tail upside one side and down the other. And listen, he's a far better driver than I'll ever be. And I hear that he's a great guy off the track.
Yeah.
But anyways, again, I think it's the best thing that could be happening to Ricky and for Ricky's sponsors and for Ricky's team. I think it's the worst thing that could be happening to Carson. Because I do think Carson has speed, and if he can figure out a way to stay out of trouble, I think he's going to win a race, if not more than one.
All right. Good
All right.
work.
Well,
No, he's got the skill set to win a race here and there. You know, he's shown it that he has the skill set. You know, it's just the mistakes he's making is holding him back.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's what, 22-year-old kid, second year in Cup.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this was another great episode. I'm sure it's going to continue next week because, like we said, they're probably going to qualify right together and ride in a truck together. So we'll talk some more. Prayers for these hauler drivers and these 18-wheeler drivers who are making the trip all the way from Mexico City all the way up to Pocono. Are you guys headed to the track?
Yes.
I'll be there.
All
I'll
right.
be there.
I will not be there. I'll be here holding down the
That
fort.
means for sure Chris and I will be out together one night because we got a spot up. Gotta get together.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will be back next week, and we will have figured out exactly what we're going to do for our host challenge here for the bracket, and we will be announcing our contest next week. So make sure to tell all your friends. You're going to need to tell your friends to win the prize here. And thanks for listening to another episode of Checkers, Wreckers, and What the Heck.
Hit that subscribe button. Subscribe button.
Share it with people.
That's it.
Tell a friend.
We'll see you next time.
So I went wide open, hoping for a little taste. Okay.